Howdy y'all, Leah and Michelle for Resistance Chicks. It is February 17th, 2017. We're going to bring you a little bit more about this pedophile ring, right?
Well, actually, Robert Steele is a ex-CIA operative. He has worked in the field, and he's been kind of on underground, on the front lines, getting the word out there, and he has some more information on what exactly is going on to sabotage Trump. And so he's on Alex Jones' show right now, and I watched it through. My mom watched it through, and she's like, "You need to cover this guy." So
Brennan said,
"Gotta do what Mama says."
I don't know everything Steele's going to get into. I got some articles of his, and I read them yesterday, and it's pretty shocking stuff. I just had them here in my stack, and we'll put some of those up on screen for folks.
Can you read that today? Go ahead. How Obama is scheming to sabotage Trump's presidency.
He's got a house 2 miles away, and people are saying he's mobilizing networks of people. I mean, you see, there are videos online. There's like they're trying to organize like a tea party almost.
He's saying it all ties in to the pedophiles and more. So we'll get his breakdown on that right now. Robert David Steele, thank you so much for coming on with us. You've got a bunch of websites. Which one's best for folks to visit?
RobertDavidSteele.com is the easiest to remember. PhiBetaIota.net is the one with all the good stuff. It's the one with all the posts from 80 people that I curate.
You're going to have to forgive. Our Kansas Cowboy is in the garage. He is making stuff. You're going to hear saws in the background. We do not have some sort of kill room. I just need to that's okay. The saws. It's always going on. Sorry about that.
Well, I read like 3 of your articles this morning. I don't even know where to start. It makes my head spin. Let's just lay it out. Lay out the information.
Well, let's start with McMullin's the lightweight. This is a little man who's got no serious credibility in either the intelligence community or the real world. He's just running his mouth.
Let me just play you who they're talking about here.
Evan McMullin, Donald Trump is a domestic enemy on the Communist News Channel.
But the fact that we know so much because of these leaks and these sources from our reporting or the Washington Post or wherever else, your former CIA, why are they so leaky?
Why are they so leaky?
What are their concerns?
I'll tell you what their concerns are. Their concerns are that Donald Trump presents or poses a threat to the country because of what they see in terms of his relationship with Vladimir Putin and the relationship of his team to other Russian intelligence officers or to Russian intelligence officers. These people are...
I don't mean to be mean, but if your head's that big, you shouldn't shave it.
People, our U.S. intelligence officers, are deeply committed to our security. They risk their lives routinely for it overseas in war zones and otherwise.
Well, you did.
And they see something happening with our U.S. president, and they have seen it playing out over time that truly concerns them. So while leaking is illegal, their first responsibility, the oath that they take when they first start their service, requires them to defend the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Listen, I'm all for transparency, and if something nefarious has been going on, it should be reported out, and there should be ramifications. But to the president's point with these leaks, do you give him any leeway in saying that is correct, that there have been too many leaks?
Well, leaks are illegal, so he can make that complaint, and I think it does have a certain validity, but again, I think intelligence officers are caught between the oath that they take when they start their service, which says they'll defend the country and they'll defend the Constitution from domestic and foreign enemies, okay? So they see a risk here. They see a security threat coming from the White House. They're responding to that.
Well, yeah, but it's
a security threat coming from the White House.
Here's the thing.
Domestic enemy.
You do not get to just all of a sudden say that a president poses a threat to the country just because you don't like him.
And you don't get to try to take him out either.
That's not the way that it works, guys.
This isn't how our government works.
It just shows what kind of mamsy-pamsy, big, whiny, fat
like Maxine Waters. Let's find some way to impeach him. We've got to be one way.
You guys, if anybody had any cause to be doing what these people are trying to do, it would be the Republicans when Obama got elected 2 times. You didn't see everybody just trying to go up in arms. You know what I mean? This is absolutely ridiculous, and our claims were founded. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Fine.
And I believe that the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
So they're talking about this guy.
And you and Gary Null and a whole bunch of important people are starting to talk about how Donald Trump might be our one chance to take down the deep state. I absolutely believe that. Now, I've published some posts. Part of Trump's problem is that he wasn't expecting to win, and when he won by accident, I've written, it's both free online and it's also a bestseller at Kindle. Donald Trump, the Accidental President, analyzes how he won at the very end because Clinton collapsed in multiple ways.
Well, and because the intelligence agencies wanted him to win.
Well, no, actually, some of us within the
no, exactly. I'm not saying everybody, but people that weren't at the top.
Yeah, well, there was a huge fight between John Brennan, who was representing Hillary Clinton, Wall Street, the deep state, and the Saudis, and the rest of us. And Steve Piesnak's one of my favorite people. He announced that there were white hats. The white hats were able to stop Hillary Clinton from using the same electronic fraud that she used against Bernie Sanders.
This says Trump and Sessions agreed pedophiles have to go down. FBI set to arrest 30% of top Republican Democrat Party leaders.
He stole 13 primaries from Bernie Sanders. That was confirmed by Stanford University. They were able to stop that, and she wasn't able to steal 13 general elections from Donald Trump. But coming back to Donald Trump, his problem was that he had to get from election day to inauguration day. And he had to get through the Electoral College, the congressional validation, and inauguration day. And as you all saw, John Brennan committed treason by telling lies intended to overturn the Electoral College.
And we've never seen a CIA, in the past, if a CIA director said to the president, keep your mouth shut, they would die in a canoeing accident within hours. And I'm not even saying do that. It's just this is unprecedented.
It is unprecedented. John Brennan is, in my view, until he resigned, and maybe still today, the highest paid agent of Saudi Arabia. John Brennan is corrupt to the bone, and he should be under deep FBI investigation. But set him aside. Donald Trump is there now. The point I'm trying to make is that to get from Election Day to Inauguration Day, Trump had to make some deals, and Reince Priebus, the Judas in the White House, was part of that.
I agree. In fact, a lot of really smart top people say that's Trump's big mistake. He thought he could co-opt them because they just wanted power, and instead, no, there's dirt on them. They're part of something bigger, and that's why Trump's got to get rid of them.
Priebus is, among other things, an enabler and cover-upper of pedophilia. Dennis Hassert is the tip of the iceberg. I absolutely guarantee.
Okay, so I wanted to just give maybe some of our BBC viewers or British viewers.
For those of you that don't know what we're talking about with the pedophile ring and stuff.
He was the former Speaker of the House, which was second in line to be president, and he was a serial child molester. And play a little video here for you.
The 74
Oh, sorry.
of sexually abusing.
Sorry.
He's working as a wrestling Speaker of the House Dennis Hastert to 15 months in prison Wednesday after he pleaded guilty to making hush money payments to cover up allegations of sexual abuse. The 74-year-old is accused of sexually abusing 4 boys when he was working as a wrestling coach at an Illinois high school decades ago. NBC reports Hastert said he regretted what he called mistreating the boys, saying, "They looked up to me and I took advantage of them." Because of the statute of limitations, authorities can no longer press charges against Hastert for the alleged sexual abuse. The judge also ordered Hastert, who served as House Speaker from 1999 to 2007, to register as a sex offender and pay a $250,000 fine. For Newsy, I'm Catherine Beek.
Okay, so just to kind of give you an idea, what they're saying is that within the Pizzagate, it's not just this one guy, that the Republican Party is filled with him. The judge actually called him a serial child molester. So he's just one guy, and he was paying hush money to people around him to keep it quiet.
Specifically.
Well, let me just stop you. I know you've got a lot of high-level sources. This is shocking right now because I've had you on for a decade. You're very respected and involved in clandestine operations all over the Middle East, all over the world. And I know you wouldn't just say this because this opens you up to a lot. Now, I'm not saying this is your opinion. I'm saying you're a guest on my show saying this right now because the media...
Oh, Alex, don't be chicken.
Well, no, listen, I'm not chicken.
Alex, you say a lot of crazy
I know about his
stuff.
connections to the Clintons. I know about the whole network. I know it's true.
Listen, this is on me. This is on me.
Yeah, go
this
ahead.
is not on you. This is on me. Okay? Here's my Marine Corps cereal ring. This is on me. I have for over a decade been working with a number of people on pedophilia as an elite privilege. For the Democrats, it's actually an acquired taste. John Podesta is a pedophile light. The Republicans and the elite in banking are the ones who have really made this a big league thing. There are Saudi Arabian restaurants with basements in Washington, D.C., where you can order children on the menu.
Stop it.
Okay, this is what I have been told. I have not been to one of those restaurants. I've never ordered a child on the menu. Pedophilia is the.
I am bold enough that I would love to
Donald
do
Trump
that.
has figured
I could
that
find out what
now,
that
Flynn
restaurant
did not
was.
get fired because he called the Russians. I would remind your viewers
And then
that
call the
Henry
cops.
Kissinger sabotaged the Paris peace talks and killed another 20,000 U.S. troops and hundreds of thousands of others just to help Richard Nixon get elected. Hillary Clinton sold Syria and Yemen to Saudi Arabia for tens of millions of dollars. Okay, Flynn got fired because he had the arrogance to think that he could tell Mattis and Tillerson what to do. He also managed to piss off the vice president. Flynn's call included, and this is insider information, Flynn's call included a conversation about a list of high-level pedophiles in the United States, one of whom is Mike Pence's best friend.
Listen, guys, for those of you, we've had a lot of you guys asking, I don't understand it. Flynn seemed like such a great guy. Why is it that he just, all of a sudden, there was this, listen, this sort of thing that has happened to General Flynn is not normal, okay? You don't just ask for somebody's resignation for them saying something to a vice president that President Trump didn't like or Vice President Pence didn't like. That is not, listen, okay, we all can realize there's a rat. You can smell a fish a mile away. And whenever you mess with anything that has to do with sexual exploitation, that's when people clam up and they just make these sweeping decisions without even thinking it. He has to go. Okay, if Mike Pence, and listen, I like Mike Pence and I like Donald Trump, and I'm not saying, but listen, if he has a friend, and it's possible that these people in Washington, there are so many that are corrupt. There's many that are good, there are some that are corrupt. A lot more than not that are corrupt. So you can see now how this is all taking shape. What happened? Why is it that Flynn just all of a sudden had to go?
And Flynn did not tell Pence. That eventually came out.
It wasn't about Russia
The
at
real issue,
all.
as Dennis Kucinich has very carefully
a
pointed out
scapegoat.
on Fox, the real issue is that NSA has been spying on all of our politicians with impunity, and the CIA is leaking highly classified information as part
Like
of
the
a
Titanic.
political coup d'etat. If I were in Donald Trump's shoes, I would be shutting NSA down.
Shut it
NSA
down.
has no legislative charter. Donald Trump has the power to shut NSA down tomorrow.
Let's be clear. It's clearly illegal what's going on, and then the leaks are illegal. But let me ask you this then. So I know I've known you 10 years or 12 years. You wouldn't be saying this. You didn't at least have the sources. Clearly they're trying to overthrow. Clearly trying to overthrow Trump right now. All this crazy stuff's going on. Who are the main power blocks in your view, and how is it going in the war against Trump?
All of your smart viewers know what a tiny URL is. So at tinyurl.com/memo4Trump, memo for Trump, is my memorandum to Donald Trump, which is, I am told, now in Trump's hands, in Steve Bannon's hands, and possibly in Kellyanne Conway's hands. All right? Trump has three major enemy groups. Enemy group number one is George Soros, Tom Steyer, and other billionaires who are behind what is going to be a violent American spring.
I read about this, and you can see it taking shape.
The American spring is going to begin as soon as the weather gets nice, with tens of thousands of paid agitators across the country.
This says, memorandum to the president, and he says you have 30 days to settle the country. A violent American spring looms. Under attack from the extreme left and the controlled fake news media, the neoconservatives, meaning like the rhinos, the Dick Cheneys, and the deep state.
And it is going to end with 3 million people being bussed into Washington, D.C. on...
I'm sorry, just as I'm reading this, I want to point this out. This guy has sent this to Trump, okay? And he is saying, you are not under attack from Iran or Russia. All of your existential fights are right here. And he realizes, and I don't know if you guys, we covered this yesterday, and if you couldn't watch all of everything that we covered, I understand that because Trump's speech was really long. We said, you can tell in Donald Trump that there are people whispering into his ears lies, whereas before he didn't view Russia as an enemy. And people are speaking lies into his mind, and this guy is saying, wait. He's like, I gotta tell you, Trump, Russia is not your enemy. So if this guy is feeling that he has to tell Trump that Russia is not his enemy, Trump didn't think that Putin was his enemy. Trump knew that Putin was his supporter all through the election process. All right, but now people that are... He's getting bad information. Donald Trump is getting bad information, and I'm hoping to heaven that he is listening to what Robert David Steele has to say.
May Day, on the 1st of May, George Soros...
And they're testing their databases right now with these fake women's marches and even fusing it with Islam.
Yes. Alex, you've covered this, and you know what I'm talking about, but I don't think people are really understanding. And unfortunately, Trump doesn't have advisors who are very broad in nature. I love Steve Bannon, but I've recommended that.
Well, he's
Steve
overwhelmed. And he's also getting isolated. But I don't want to. Let's go through the points. So obviously they're going to have a 3 million march. They admit that they're going to burn everything down.
But it's not just the left that's trying to kill Donald Trump.
The right-wing Republicans.
Dick Cheney is still Darth Vader. Dick Cheney is orchestrating penetrations of the government, and in fact, I've recommended to Trump that he fire the director of the Office of Presidential Personnel, DeStefano, who was put in there by Priebus specifically to front load all of Donald Trump's political appointees with moles from the establishment. Dick Cheney is hijacking this government just as he hijacked the government of George Bush, and I would point your listeners, your viewers, to a book called Vice, Dick Cheney and the Hijacking of the American Presidency. The third enemy group that Donald Trump is facing is the deep state, which is the traitors. I think there's 500 of them across the United States.
We just saw the interview with the guy saying this is exactly what they're doing. They're traitors, treason.
Right.
It's government who have sold out for money, for ideology, or for religion. All right? There are 3 different groups that are after Donald Trump, and there are 3 things Donald Trump has to do to survive the next 90 days. The first is an Electoral Reform Act so that he recruits the 73% that did not vote for him. The second is a Trump channel so that he can bypass the media and work through people like you and Greg Hunter and other...
Sure, he should just go on every day with press announcements himself or with others and just lay it out.
Think about a 7-minute fireside chat from the president every day. And then think about all of his cabinet officials being brought in to do 7 to 15-minute YouTubes. And then think about Donald Trump asking America a question with a tweet and using poll mole, P-O-L-L-M-O-L-E, poll mole. With poll mole, I can get 150
No, that's
million
it. He must mobilize his base that's just sitting on the sideline because they're mobilizing their armies right now. We must mobilize.
Yes, but we need to mobilize the 70% that George Soros doesn't control.
This morning when I came in, I meant to get on air and say, become activists, call C-SPAN, get in the streets.
Well, McMullin has just demonstrated that he's clickbait. He's right up there with Madonna. I think very, very poorly of him. He is being an irresponsible, unprofessional person. Donald Trump, for all of his flaws, is unshackled. And I cannot emphasize this anymore. There is one chance to restore the Constitution and restore the Republic. Now, I'm really pleased that Jeff Sessions and James Comey, who appears to have turned around somewhat, they're going after the pedophiles among the elite. A number of arrests are expected in the next week or two.
And that's putting them on notice. That's putting them on notice, isn't it?
Yes, it is putting them on notice. These people are extremely vulnerable. However, one of the problems that I have with Trump's current team is they don't seem to understand that the real enemies, the existential enemies of America are right here at home. They are not overseas.
It's
North
not
Korea
Russia.
is the Chinese's problem.
Yeah.
Look, Trump's got to be political some. I mean, he's got to have some, if he's going to not start war with Russia and people, he's got to have something, that nationalistic he's going to do.
I'll tell you what, let's make America great again, starting right here at home.
All I'm telling you is that I want to come back in 70 seconds and talk more about 474 arrests in L.A. of pedophiles and a bunch of kids actually kept in slave dungeons. That's not even on the news. That shows how it's a cover-up. arrest all over the country, arrest of Sandusky's son. We've got Wiener, child porn stuff. I mean, our law enforcement people told us this 3 months ago. So, I mean, this is really going on. And you know who isn't one of the pedophiles? It's Donald Trump. And Sessions isn't either. They want to go after him. The entire power structure is against Trump. Right. The foreign banks, the Saudi Arabians, the communist Chinese, it's so obvious. And he's really trying to cut taxes on poor people, have the big banks loan to local businesses. I mean, it's a real move towards prosperity. He's not perfect, but he's just kind of a businessman that didn't have to get the country. Doesn't mean he's not going to make mistakes. Versus the elites, are they trying to act, Robert, confident, or are they really, in a megalomaniac way, confident that they're going to bring Trump down? Because Michael Moore is saying, we're going to overthrow him. He is a Russian.
Who cares what Michael Moore says?
Out, or CIA, he is a Russian. We know the talking points. They've been building this up. Now they're on the news saying, could we kill him? Could the CIA legally kill him? They're really trying to get themselves up to that edge of that cliff. I don't think they realize what's going to come if they do that separately. This is in 1963. Separately, let's get into what your intel is on more roundups of pedophiles.
Well, let me first say that Catherine Austin Fitz, speaking for Greg Hunter, the Underground Show, has a YouTube that I consider to be the single most important piece of advice Donald Trump could ever get. They are playing Trump like a fiddle. They're going after his women, which makes him crazy. They are undermining him with the media. Trump is not focusing. He made a huge mistake today in doubling down on a national security advisor. What he really needs is a national strategy advisor that can do whole of government thinking. Yeah,
they're distracting him with filling his cabinet when what matters is he's everything.
Yes, absolutely right. Alex, you are absolutely on target. Donald Trump needs to sit down and game out the next 90 days, and he has to do it in a way that allows him to shut down the two-party tyranny. Paul Ryan is not his friend.
Oh, Paul Ryan is a sworn enemy. He's
with Paul Ryan.
I mean, here's the thing. The Democrat leadership thinks that Russia invaded Korea and doesn't know what day it is, and thinks Bush is in office, but they're all goofy and just... It is like those carries, the Republican leadership has got their act together. That's really the threat to Trump, I think.
I agree with you completely, Alex, and one of the reasons I want to throw the press out of the White House and create a Trump channel in that space is because Fox News is part of the crap.
They're attacking him backhanded every 10 seconds.
They are sleazeballs, and frankly, I'm tired of 3 bimbos in the morning and 5 jerks at night. Fox News is a disgrace to the journalist profession. Trump needs to sit down and think strategically, and he doesn't have anyone that can do that for him. I love Bannon, but Bannon needs playmates that are diversified.
Well, I mean, you know what they're doing. They're trying to run Bannon out. Bannon's just trying to get policy done.
But Bannon's been very good. But here's the bottom line, Alex. If Trump will listen, if Trump will read the memo for Trump, and if Trump will follow this strategy, he could shut down George Soros within the next 15 days.
Yeah, why is he scared to have this? I mean, clearly Soros has committed a bunch of crimes and stuff. He's why not just indict him? Why not take the gloves off?
Frankly, I'm surprised that George Soros hasn't had a bullet put through his brain. We have something called Ranger Justice. It's when specific people understand that certain things need to be done and they do it. George Soros is a dead man walking, in my view. I certainly am no threat to George Soros, but I think he is very, very likely to be assassinated in the next 180 days if he doesn't change his...
All I know is people can't go on TV and call the president a domestic enemy and these be overthrown and stuff not happen. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Alex, we all need to rally behind Donald Trump. I just
Guys, don't go and kill anybody.
And I'm on with Gary Null again on Tuesday.
You're on with us next Tuesday as well. I appreciate you. Thank you. We'll look into all this. I mean, a lot of what you're saying I can document. I believe you have a good heart and
are
on target and all this stuff. Who knows? I hope some of this isn't true. It's simply unbelievable.
Pedophilia, but we know that that's coming down the line, and there are going to be arrests that are going to be made, and we're actually looking forward to covering that when it happens. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah. So, kind of just to sum some of those things up,
because it kind of seems all over the board.
A little bit scattered. There's a coup happening. There are the people. The ship has holes in it, and we need to stop the leaks. And there is actually literal things. I mean, they've got these. I should play them for you, but they've got these. There's a website where you can go where they're trying to get a grassroots movement going, and telling people to go to your senator, go to town hall meetings. They're trying to do the whole Tea Party thing with everybody upset. They're trying to create a movement. Whereas what happened with the Tea Party and what happened with Donald Trump is that
the people actually felt it so strongly and so fervently that they just banded together.
So the only thing that they
didn't have to recruit anyone.
Is keep saying Nazis, 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 and it's going to die. Eventually, people are going to realize, okay, Trump is not a Nazi. People who voted for Trump aren't KKK. They aren't anti-Semitic. This is just a bunch of hooey. And it's just a ruse. So just keep getting the news out there. I think that maybe Trump supporters have had a time to take a break because there was such a
push
fight,
yeah,
and then they just all kind of hid again.
Right now, everybody's just kind of embarrassed. Like they feel safe, they feel comfortable, they feel like it's all over. And I'm telling you guys right now, it's not all over.
On Fox News and all these places, even the senators or representatives, they're trying to field all this anger, all this vehemence, all this craziness. But you have to recognize that when Donald Trump got in office, he literally put the brakes on the whole train, and he's trying to get it back up again, going in the opposite direction. Everybody's upset. Well, my gosh, you're not going very fast. It's not going really right. He's like, you don't understand. We've been going in this direction for, oh my gosh, 35 years or something like that, 40 years to get back going in the other direction.
Yeah.
It's really, he's getting going, and he wanted to get it started right away.
Right. He's been putting coal in the fire of that train, and it is moving.
Because he knew as soon as he got in there, you had to put the brakes on. You have to keep moving in one direction.
Right.
So he's going to keep moving in this direction, and so
there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen, and Trump needs to have the right people speaking into his ear, and I think that he's got a lot of the wrong people speaking into his ear right now, which is going to happen. They're going to get into those positions because they know what they're doing.
Right. Well, this has been Resistance Chicks.
Signing off, where it's not a conspiracy theory if it's the truth. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring the bell for notifications so you get an email every time that we put out new videos. And find us on Facebook where we can interact with you guys on a daily basis. God bless, and we'll be back in a minute. That's good, Leah.
I was cold all alone. No place for